A very warm welcome to all our viewers. Welcome to BW Business World. We are here today at the D2C Summit 2023. I have with me the founder of Perfora, Mr. Tushar Khurana. So, pleasure.
Hi, hi.
So, I want to start off this whole conversation by asking you what are the key trends that are shaping up the D2C sector in the country right now?
I think one key trend which is really working is premiumization across. We've got this set of customers who are, who are very well educated, who are very particular in what they want to buy, what they want to consume, and somewhere the larger brands or businesses out there have not been able to cater to those needs. So I think the customers for a long time felt sort of not satisfied with whatever they were using, but because they don't have options, it was sort of not working. So premiumization is one big theme that is working across the D2C ecosystem. If you look at personal care, you look at food. Second, I think health and wellness is the second key thing. Everybody really wants to invest in good health. They want to be more productive. They want to feel fitter. They want to feel better for like a far longer time. So premiumization and health and wellness for me are two key things that I'm seeing panning out quite strongly in the D2C ecosystem.
Okay. The market is hyper competitive. We know that. The market is hyper competitive. That being said, what are your key focus areas right now? Like, as in your companies?
Yeah, so market's super competitive, and especially the field that we're in. We're into oral care, so the big brands out there, they have all the mind share, they have all the distribution might that they want. The key focus for us today is that how do we get the point across that oral care is important. We want people to invest in good oral care. We want them to be brushing at night. India has one of the worst metrics when you look at oral health as a country. So, of course, to bring about that change, it will take a lot, but right now for us, I think the biggest goal is that how do we tell and convince people to invest in good oral care, and how do we then get our great products which are made so nicely and with good ingredients and with no nasties across to them.
A lot of D2C brands are opting for physical stores these days. I want to understand your views on that, to go beyond the domain of online and to open a physical store. What are your views?
Absolutely, I think that is the only way to go, because in India, if you look at it, and especially, of course, there was a big peak during COVID when everything and most things were happening online, but the larger part of the market will always stay in stores, because that's how fundamental. Like even if you look at the US, I think probably online penetration is still about 16 or max 20%, right? Rest of all consumption still happens in the stores, in the pharmacy, in those retail outlets out there. So for us, again, we're doing currently a pilot in about 100 odd stores in Delhi NCR, starting. See, because offline is also really hard. Small mistake can be very expensive, 6 months down the line. So we want to make sure we're not making those mistakes, but really focusing very, very codely on offline, what it takes, what does the communication have to be, what is the pricing that it has to be, who are the right partners, what will it take to convince or like just appeal to that customer to make that switch and give our products a chance over the larger incumbents that they've been choosing since forever. And yeah, when looking at like a longer time frame, say a 2 to 3 year time frame, with being in oral care, we know that the brand or the larger business will only get built offline. Both your online marketplaces, the website per se, they're all great supplementary channels, but eventually where the beautiful brand will come out along will be the offline world.
Next, I want to understand, so marketing is a key aspect of D2C brands. Like it's a very big, let's call it a cornerstone, right?
Yeah.
That being said, what is your strategy going forward? Where do you see your brand and the whole D2C sector in the next few years?
So marketing is definitely, it's like cornerstone. We are out there building a great product, but there is a great story and a great reason why that has to be happen. And good marketing is all about getting that reason across and convincing the customer about what we're doing. For us overall, see how the D2C economy will evolve. Again, profitability and growth, they're both out, and like sustainably doing all of that sustainably is all everywhere. I think the next 2-3 years specifically overall, the markets are going to be like in a difficult place because of how liquidity is, how the global scenario is, and global money supply and VC funding and all of that is sort of going to pan out. For us internally, the key focus is that we have a very nice tone and a very nice purpose where we want to bring good, clean oral care to people. They've been investing in good, clean skin care, hair care, but this is again a category that they're completely missing out on, really ingesting ingredients which this should not be. The idea will be that we really hammer down and get this point across again and again to people. So why they need to make the switch, why they need better quality oral care with good ingredients that we have. And to do that, we'll have to do it at a couple of places, right? There are, of course, our own paid channels where we would sort of invest money in putting the message and getting it across. There will be a lot more avenues. Like, for example, even like an event like this, right? I get to talk about what Perfora is and what it's doing. And again, I mean, there's a lot like from a ATL, BTL point of view. Again, in the offline world, again, I always tread with caution when I talk about offline because you can easily get lost. It's so very hard to measure it, to sort of target or like sort of close the feedback loop. The feedback loop closing is much easier when it comes to digital marketing, right? Because in the digital marketing world, there's a performance spend. In the offline world, it's very hard to put a performance spend to anything. Like even if I take a hoarding somewhere, I will not be possibly able to see that what it did for me. I won't be able to measure it in like a 1 month period. Of course, it's a larger brand play. The brand has to be seen for people to build relevancy, to build some sort of certain specific relatability. But I think from a 3-4 year time horizon, that's what that is. But like currently right now, we have a lot of momentum. The idea would be to really make the most out of it for the next month or two and then invest in some core brand awareness activities to really get our brand going and that momentum from Shark Tank to continue.
Last question for you. Going forward, where do you see the future of the D2C sector heading to in India?
Future of the D2C sector, I think the D2C sector is the future and it's pretty much here. The D2C brands have been able to get the biggest of sort of companies and brands to innovate, to change certain products, change certain product factors, right? And that goes a lot to say, right? When a certain new brand comes along, does something for a year, and like really giants are changing their formulations which they haven't touched upon for 50 years. So I think D2C is pretty much here. It is the future. It's for the benefit of the customer. It's for the benefit of the larger ecosystem. You know, great entrepreneurs building out great products, giving like a massive uplift and boost to the local economy. I think that's again a very overarching love that the D2C economy is getting because all of these are Indian homegrown brands.
Right.
And that shift to happen even from my say early childhood days in school where we would really fascinate and really sort of get excited about certain imported global brands versus today where for our coffee consumption, for our chocolate consumption, for our skincare, face care, we look at brands and we get really excited that there's this amazing font imagery, there's a great story, there's great packaging. So I think it definitely is very symbolic of what the new India is and what it wants to get to. But overall, I think the D2C ecosystem is going to see a lot of strong brands coming out, really making like a solid space. And however they get it across, what happens at the back end, like one has to figure out. But at the front end, I think the customer wins with good quality and great availability, a great assortment.
Thank you so much for chatting with us. Pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so
for
much.
having me. Thank you.